Pangeos the Terayacht, Saudi Arabia, 8 billion floating city. Why not relocate into a gigantic floating turtle if you're feeling a little tired of your neighborhood and are searching for a change of scenery? The solution is quite obvious at this point, isn't it? Yes, Saudi Arabia has listened to your requests and, as a result, the preparations for the construction of their $8 billion floating city, Pangeos, are now officially underway. However, there are other worries that remain, such as the kind of conveniences that are provided by it. What are its dimensions? We ask that you watch this entire video so that we can respond to each and every one of your concerns. The supercontinent known as Pangaea, which existed approximately 200 million years ago, inspired the naming of the Pangeos. Lazzarini Design Studio is responsible for the project's design as well as its proposal. The organization, which is situated in Rome, makes use of 3D technology in order to visualize designs and concepts. The largest private yacht in the world. The Pangeos dimensions that have been postulated are absolutely enormous. If it were to be built, the vessel would set a new record for the largest one ever built. The Azam, which was constructed in Germany and measures 180.61 meters or 595.55 feet in length, currently holds the distinction of the world's largest yacht. The Seawees Giant, which was created by the Japanese company Sumitomo Heavy Industries, is the world's largest marine vessel that has ever been built. It measured 458.45 meters in length. The Pangeos would be an even larger one than the combined size of these two enormous creatures. The suggested measurements for its length and width are as follows. The length is 550 meters, or about 1,800 feet, and the width is 610 meters, or about 2,000 feet. Staying on Pangeos, the gigantic ocean-going vessel will serve the purpose of a city on the water. It is anticipated that there would be sufficient room for hotels, commercial malls, parks, and other types of public places. According to Lazzarini, the capacity of Pangeos will be able to support 60,000 passengers, in addition to an undetermined number of crew members and staff members. There would be room for 19 villas and 69 flats on each of the side wings of the Pangeos building. On the rooftop shell, there will be a total of 72 terraces available. Some will look out over the ocean, while others will look out over the port area in the vessel's central hub. In contrast to the typical experience on a cruise ship or yacht, the Pangeos Islands themselves would serve as the main attraction. The Pangeos is anticipated to have a top speed of only 5 knots, which is equivalent to 5.7 miles per hour or 9.2 kilometers per hour. The Pangeos is powered by 9 HTS engines, totaling 16,800 horsepower. Given the size and weight of the vessel, the sluggish and consistent speed that it travels is not surprising. If a guest wishes to go from the Pangeos to a different location, they will have the choice of either using an additional sea vessel or an aircraft to make the journey. On board, a port will be built for other vessels, and access to the upper shell area will be provided for flying vehicles, both in terms of funding and construction. It should come as no surprise that the construction of a vast floating city will not likely be inexpensive. According to Lazzarini's estimations, in order for Pangeos to become a reality, an investment of $8 billion will be required. As a component of a plan to gather financial resources, there is now an active NFT crowdfunding project. Backers have the option of using cryptocurrencies as a payment method when purchasing virtual space on Pangeos within the metaverse. According to Lazzarini, the building process would take 8 years. Finding a suitable location that is also large enough for such a mammoth building endeavor might in and of itself be a difficult task. Lazzarini's designers have posed the question of whether or not Saudi Arabia would be an appropriate place. The planners of the mega project have chosen a location near King Abdullah Port as a potential contender for the role of host city if they receive approval from the Saudi Arabian government. Before the building could begin, an area of water of approximately 1 square kilometer would have to be dredged. At the location of the structure, the water levels would be managed by utilizing a circular dam. Pangeos is still very much in the stage of concept development at this point. However, Saudi Arabia is a possible location for the construction of the floating metropolis of the future at some point in the future. If we look at the Pangeos and compare it to this ship, let's see what we get. The majority of vacationers will only get the chance to go on a cruise once in their lifetime. But what if taking a vacation on a cruise was all there was in your life? The passengers aboard the Freedom ship may very well find themselves living that reality. The vessel, which would be almost a mile long and 5 times as large as the largest ships, would sail the seas and be hailed as a unique destination to live, work, retire, vacation, or visit, rather than a typical cruise ship. In addition, it would sail the seas. The massive ship, which had the potential to accommodate more than 100,000 passengers, would take those who were aboard on a journey that would never end, taking them all the way around the world and through each of the 7 seas. Following its departure from the United Kingdom, the Freedom ship was scheduled to sail through France and into the Mediterranean Sea before making its way to the continent of Africa and finally the Indian Ocean. After that, the movable community would make its way around Australia and into China, after which it would go into the Pacific Ocean and make its way toward the coast of the Americas. The ship would not make a halt for any reason other than to retrieve supplies that could not be transferred via the aircraft and runway located on the ship's upper deck. There is a fleet of ferries that will sail to and from the ship in order to carry people back to land. Additionally, there are planes that can land on top of the ship, so passengers and residents of the ship are able to freely come and go using these modes of transportation. In addition, because the ship is so enormous, it has an onboard tram system that allows passengers to move around the vehicle even though it is 1 mile long. Residents and visitors alike would be able to find all they require to prosper during their possibly lifelong trip.